YouTube. I'll start do more live on YouTube, you know. I'll start do more live on YouTube because the truth of the matter is YouTube must be commended for the platform that they create. I feel like YouTube is one of the only platform that you truly find what you seek on YouTube. If you want value, you find value because I think Chrissy has written a book, you know what I mean? Like basically I should write down the title of the book before me even try to bring it up, you know. But it's just basically the dying, how much concentration, yeah, you know, people ability if you can and the focus is really dying. Yeah, we feel like we'll start the more live on YouTube. Introduce myself to the YouTube audience, right? And if you're asking yourself who I am, I'm Top Farm CEO, do a clothing brand. So in the philosophical clothing space, you know, in the philosophical clothing space, for the past 4 years, we have been doing a lot of work on the other platforms. Because we talk about personal development, right? We talk about personal development and the importance. And personal development is a process in which you add value to yourself. Why is that important, you might ask? Why is it important to add value to yourself? Because you get paid for the value that you bring to the marketplace. A lot of people said they make X Y amount of money per hour, but unless you work into a mint, you know, unless you work where money is actually printed, then ultimately, if you are making $6 or $10 for the hour, then that's the value that you are bringing to the marketplace. We're not talk about you being a lovely human being, how much your family love you or care for. We're talking about the value that you perceive value that you bring to the marketplace, because ultimately you get paid for the value that you bring to the marketplace. So if you want to bring value to the marketplace, you're going to have to add value to yourself, right? That's what we do on this platform. That's what the brand is all about, right? That's what we've been doing. So we read the books and we come and we try to speak life into people or persons who want to listen, right? Yes, so we pull from biblical context and we use the biblical context and we just bring it together to really bring a world of possibility to you to let. All right, this is what the Bible story is talking about. Change the way or you look on a thing, and the thing that you look at will change. As a wise man said, or as my teacher said, right? The Bible is logical as much as it's practical. So there's many lectures I do on other platform where we use the stories from the Bible, from the very first story in the book of Genesis, right? I think I love when I did that live, because when I spoke about the very first story or the very first lesson that we should learn from the Bible is about courage, right? And as a wise man said, courage is the finest quality because it guarantees all other, right? So you said, where in the book of Genesis did you see courage, right? When Jesus had the courage to drive Adam and Eve out the Garden of Eden. Now, why did he do that? Because he gave them a simple instruction: eat from all the trees in the garden, but this one, because from the day you eat from this one, you shall surely die, right? So Eve, take the blame, you know, we don't know, we have to just go by. They say Eve was tempted by a serpent, right? But what happened when Eve was tempted by the serpent? God stand on his conviction and drove them out the Garden of Eden. So this is when you come across my life, and these are so we talk about personal development, but we use the biblical story to really always make sure say we link it together. So if you want a good and successful life, you're gonna have to understand, you're gonna have to have courage, right? Because as I say it again, courage is the finest quality because it guarantees all other. When Adam and Eve go against Jesus' wishes, right? He didn't have to, he could have said, because oftentimes, you know, some people betrayed us and we give them a second chance because we did not have the courage to walk away from them. We did not have the courage to really stand on our principles. So that's the beauty. That is really the beauty of the Bible story, the first story. So a lot of people see that story in the Bible and don't understand the importance of that very story when Jesus drove Adam and Eve out the Garden of Eden. Now, why did he do that? Because in life, you know, sometimes we are busy building. You hear it all the while, right? Especially in the black community, right? Oh, my family is taking me for granted, or my family destroy my business, right? So when I look on the biblical, and I did a live on that story on a different platform, right? Because I have a lot of other platforms. I'm just trying to get my message out there more on the YouTube platform, right? But when you look on the biblical story, because they said God created heaven and earth, right? You imagine you spend 10 years and 20 years right? You spend 10 years or 20 years, however long you spend creating a business, right? But you don't put the guardrails, you don't put the do's and the don'ts in place. Now, this is what Jesus showed us, because after Jesus created heaven and the earth, right? And he separated the darkness from the light, right? He said, all right, I put you here now, Adam and Eve. I put you in a place of comfort. I put you in a place, but here what you going to do? There's one thing in the garden. There's one tree. This is why nowadays I don't really listen to people or persons who say they don't believe in the Bible, or the Bible is here to mislead us. And I say it on many other platforms, right? The right information in the wrong, and it's powerful. Because if you are building a business, if you are out there now grafting, right? And because oftentimes as an entrepreneur, you are building a business from scratch. You are pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, right? There is no family, there is no friend, there is nobody out there to give you a helping hand, right? But you see, come harvest time, right? Come harvest time, because remember, come harvest time, you're going to wonder, where were you when I needed all these help? So this is why you have to always make sure so you've been putting things in place, right? You can't have people going against your wishes. You can't have people going against what you stand for, right? So this is why when Jesus drive Adam and Eve out the garden, that's the first lesson. But the beauty about the Bible, like you might hear me tell you about the story in the book of Genesis, right? And you might be listening to somebody else and they have a whole different take, right? But for me as an entrepreneur, right? Because oftentimes when you find your higher self or you find your higher purpose, I find nowadays I get drawn to biblical scriptures. That was what he said to me. That was what the Bible said. This is what I want you to take from this, because yes, you are building a brand just now. Yes, you are building a company. There is no family. There is no friend. There is nobody like how you doing, right? Blessed love, right? But this is a story that is in the book of Genesis. Courage. Jesus had the courage. Because when you look on the story, it did not say that Jesus gave Adam and Eve a second chance, right? It was because of that sin that was committed. That's why Jesus sent his son to die on the cross. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be a Christian. We're not going to get into that. But we're just trying to show you the importance. As Jim Rohn said it best, the Bible is logical as much as it's practical. So if you're out there building a life, building a business, you have to get to this place, right? You have to have the courage. Because you see, when people go against your wishes and your rules, ultimately they don't respect you, Because Eve did not respect the rule that was set in place. Eve, and this is why Jesus show you, like, you have to go drive you out. When people, this is why, and I love, because even in the Bible, it went on to say you have to drive out the scoffers out your life, and contentions and strife will cease. You can't out there giving people second chance. You can't just out there handing out second chance. You truly, right? Because when some of the times, right, this is why if you don't understand the meaning of a scoffer is a person who really ridicule you. Nothing you say is good enough. It's like they don't respect your boundaries. They don't respect anything you stand for, right? Did the Isle up. Yeah, man, good for you, man. Good for you. Good for you if you did the Isle up. You understand me? A scoffer is a person who does not respect your boundaries. A scoffer is somebody who does not respect what you stand for. So because Adam and Eve was ultimately a scoffer, Jesus had to drive them out the garden. That's the first lesson in the Bible. That's the first lesson. So if you are out there now building and trying to create something, right? If you're out there building and trying to create something, you have to get to the place, like, you're going to have the courage to stand on your conviction. If I tell a family or if I tell a friend, like, don't do that, that's not what I'm about. If you do that, then you have to go follow through on that, because too much of us don't follow through on our principles. And because of that, we leave the gates open for people to come and take advantage and take disadvantage of us, right? So if you don't take anything from this conversation, make sure you sit down and you examine, do I have enough courage in my life? Because as a wise man said, courage is the finest quality. It guarantees all other, right? My friend who is trying to be funny, he did not, Ryan don't have the courage. So that's why Diddy iled him up. That's why he wind up getting iled up by Diddy. He did not have enough courage. Because some people seek the path of least resistance. So I don't know what enables you or what you wanted from P. Diddy that you allowed him to ile you up. Yes, man, if you see me, we just a chuckle. We just get used to this platform because we do work on another platform. If you see me over here touching the Lord anointed, right? I just feel like this morning we're going to come and we're going to start do a bit more YouTube. So if you now follow me, right? I'm going to invite you along this journey with me now for the next year. And as a wise man said, you'll be a reflection of the books you read and the people you hang out with, all right? I'm never going to come on this platform without something of value and something of substance, right? As I said, once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. So that person who is trying to be funny, he's telling me he's a person who does not have substance. He's a person who's got nothing going on in his life because he's seeing a serious conversation and he's trying to be funny. There's a time and place for everything. So when you see, if you're seeing me for the first time, if the algorithm puts me in front of you, right? If you see top form come up, never ever make the mistake to think that I'm here to waste your time or here to be funny. This morning we come over here, we're talking about courage and the importance of courage, right? Courage. Don't underestimate that word, right? That was the first thing that Jesus taught us in the story of the Garden of Eden. In life, if you are, especially if you are an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur and you're building a business, right? You're going to have to put the guardrails in place. You're going to have to put the things in place to make sure what? You can't come on, because you see, some people, some people watch you struggle to build something and then they come and they destroy it and get you to start right back at square one, right? That was what Jesus taught Adam and Eve. You're not going to destroy this gardening. You're not going to destroy it. I told you not to, because sometimes it's a simple thing as an entrepreneur. Sometimes we are so busy in life. Sometimes we are so busy, and you might stop at the restaurant and you might buy some food and you jump on a phone call and you don't have time to eat the food, and before you come back, right? Some people just eat and don't even remember that you are supposed to eat. So this is why sometimes you're going to have to get to a point. I'm going to have to need to have people around me who is looking out for me, people who have my best interests at heart. I can't have people in my circle that only want to extract from my resources. And if I ask you not to take from me today, I expect you to respect that, right? If you ask me for the first time, that's what you do on this platform. That's what we're going to start be doing, all right? Yes, man. And if you see me and you feel like you can't come and distract me, you can't distract me. I am a seasoned individual. And if you're up on TikTok, it's top_weird. Right? I'm a seasoned individual. I'm going over there now to work, but I want to grow some more on this platform. All right? We do serious life. We do serious conversation. We are not here for the waste of space. We are not here for the people or the persons who really don't have a brain cell, who don't really have a brain cell. We are not here for them, all right? It's harder to work on this platform. This is why the other platform is like, you feel like you got a community over there. But ultimately, it's not about that. It's about just getting comfortable on this platform, because going forward, I want to be doing more at this platform. And we talk about personal development, all right? We talk about adding value to yourself. We talk about understanding that ultimately life is a value-based system, all right? And you get paid for the value that you bring to the marketplace. Nobody just take anything and hand it to you because you are a good person, right? You get your wage, you get your respect, you get everything based on how valuable people deemed you, all right? And if you're seeing me for the first time and you're not following, click the button, follow the notification. So from time to time, whenever time we come on this platform to drop some message, then you are in the right place. You'll be getting it fresh, all right? Yes, you'll be getting it fresh. You don't want to be getting it second-handed, yeah? With that said, I am about to wrap it up. I just wanted to do 15 minutes of this, all right? Yes, man. I just wanted to do 15 minutes and I feel like we have done. I think this morning, I hope if you listen to this, we talk about understanding the lessons of the greatest book that was ever written, all right? And this morning, we talk about something from Genesis. We talk about the first thing that Jesus taught us was the importance of courage, all right? And not only that, wise man, philosophers said, courage is the finest quality because it guarantees all other, all right? You're going to need courage in order to have confidence. You're going to need courage in order to be able to persist. You're going to need courage. Everything you do in life, it starts with courage. Everything. So this is why the wise man said courage is the finest quality because it guarantees all other, all right? And this is what Jesus taught us, right? And a lot of people might never look at it from this side, but this was the first thing that Jesus himself, the carpenter, the man from Galilee, that was the very first thing he taught us. Courage. He said unto Adam and Eve, hey, eat from all the trees in the garden, but this one, because from the day you eat from it, you shall surely die, right? What did Adam and Eve did? They went ahead and they think they know better. He had was to drive them out the garden. All right. When people go against your wishes, when people go against what you ask them not to do, this is where a lot of us keep on getting hurt. A lot of us get taken for granted. Unless you're living on a rock, underneath a rock, every time you go on social media, you will hear the stories where people is saying, "Oh, somebody take me for granted, or my family pull me back down to square one, or my wife, or whosoever." Right? But this is not only that. This is why we like to look from the biblical standpoint, but we also like to use the books that wise men has written and left for us to read. And one of the book is that The Power of Concentration. And it said you have to put a limit on the amount you are willing to give, because mankind will not put a limit on you are willing to take. All right, but that's what, if you keep on following me, you keep on watching my videos, that is what you'll be hearing on this platform. All right, that is what you'll be seeing. We are not just here because we got data or we got internet. We are truly here to speak life into you, to bless you, to uplift you, to motivate you, all right? To draw near to the Bible, to understand the biblical principles. And this morning, one of my live this morning or this afternoon was all about courage. All right, that was the first lesson that was taught unto us. Right, we want, because nowadays depends who you listen to, them have a different take on the book of Genesis. But the power that was invested in me told me that the first lesson, the very first lesson that was passed down unto us is courage. Because what's happening in this world today, a lack of courage. A lot of people is lacking courage. And once you lack courage, you're going to have a weak will. And once you have a weak will, it will be showing up in different parts of your life. All right? Because remember this one thing and remember it well. Every discipline affects each other. All right? If you have a weak will, then you're going to have a weak everything. Because you need that ability. You need that thing in the gut, to show that you need that steel in the spine, right? You're gonna have to be able to persevere, right? Because that's like what carbon is to steel, right? But you have to understand that you have to have the courage. It all starts with the courage. It is top form, it's will to power. Make the sacrifice, pay the price. And the greater the sacrifice is the greater the reward, because once the price is clear, then the sacrifice then is, we just know what we need to do, because it's what we'll get. So once the future is clear, then the price is easy to pay. But you got to get it clear. And part of getting it clear is having the courage. Have the courage to hack. Have the courage to stand up for yourself. Have the courage to take control of your mind. Have the courage to take control of your life. Have the courage, the courage, the courage. That is top form, will to power. Make the sacrifice, pay the price. Give me a like, give me a follow. We're just getting started. Okay.